Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is Yoel Kortick, Senior Librarian at Ex Libris, and today we're going to be discussing using an OAI profile in Alma to show both bibliographic as well as holdings information. That holdings information will be both from physical inventory as well as electronic inventory. We're using the standard OAI Open Archives Initiative, which can be found at this page from OAI. The results will be in the standard OAI XSD, which is also from the official Open Archives page. In addition to this presentation, it is recommended to see the examples of the OAI syntax blog. All of the references to these pages will be in the description of the YouTube video. We will use this examples of the OAI syntax today during our examples. It's also recommended to see the blog, How to Publish a Set of Bibliographic Records in OAI Format, as well as the online help setting up OAI integration. And again, reference to all of these pages is located in the description of the YouTube video. So the first step when we want to publish anything by OAI, or publish anything for that matter in any format, is to have a set of records which we want to publish. So let's go take a look at our sample set. We'll go to the Admin Manage Sets, and we have a set here called Set for OAI. Now this is a very small set. It contains 4 records, 2 with electronic inventory, 2 with physical inventory. In a real situation, of course, this would be a much larger set. Typically, it might be the entire repository, or it might be all of the repository except for records which are suppressed from publishing or any other criteria. So as we see here, we have 1 electronic, 1 physical, another physical, and another electronic. So we have 2 examples of electronic, 2 examples of physical. Within the physical, we have 1 which is available and 1 which is not available. Let's check this one first. Both items are available. However, this physical one is not available because it's on loan. It says 0 of 1 items are available. If we were to look at this, for example, in the physical items, we will see that this is on loan. Let's take a look here by MMSID. So when we see our results, we'll know why the results appear the way they do. So this one here is item not in place, and that's because it has process type loan. So now we have our set of records which we want to publish, and now we need the publishing profile. So let's go take a look at the publishing profile. Under Resources, Publishing Profiles, we have a general publishing profile, which is called OAI with holdings information. Let's take a look at that. So, it's called OAI with holdings information. It's active. Typically, this would be scheduled. Instead of not scheduled, we would say edit scheduling and decide if we want to print this on an hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And then, every time it's published, records which are added to the set, removed from the set, or changed would be published, either as deleted, if it was deleted, or if it was new, or if it was edited. But right now, we published the entire set. So the set name, the set we just saw called Set for OAI, the set with 4 records is here. We're publishing on the bibliographic level in Mark 21 bibliographic format. We gave our set spec in set name. Our set spec is called OAI example set spec. Our set name is OAI example set name, just so we can easily find these records when we retrieve them via OAI. Then we have the data enrichment. This is where we include the inventory information together with the bibliographic information. So under Physical Holdings Enrichment, we have a section here, Add Holdings Information, which we did check. And we said to put the library name field in the 852 subfield B, the location name field in the 852 subfield C. We could put more administrative information here. We could also add inventory enrichment and say, for example, we want to take the 852 subfield H and put that, for example, also in a specific field in the bibliographic record. But for our purposes, we want to do just the library name and location name here. Then we also add item information. Here we're adding the barcode to the 999 subfield B, and we're adding the item status subfield to the subfield C. That item status is whether it's available or not available, and that is going to correspond to what we saw item in place, item not in place, when we just looked at our records and we saw, for example, that one of those physical items is on loan. That will mean it's not available as far as the status goes. We have a similar setup here for the electronic inventory enrichment, where we have checked add electronic portfolio information. This time we're adding it to a bibliographic field called 998. We're adding the activation status to subfield A, the URL type to subfield B, the access URL subfield to C, the link resolver base URL to D, the static URL to E, and the interface name to F, and the collection name to G, and the direct link subfield to H. So we could add a lot more information here, as you see. For our purposes, we've added just a few fields. Now let's take a look at what happens here. It's already been published, and let's take a look at our examples of the OAI syntax. So first we want to get the details of our OAI in our Alma institution. So let's paste that into a new tab. And here we go. This is I'll make this a little larger. This is our OAI information. Now you can see it's called Alma OAI repository. It has a base URL like this. It has an admin email of my email, earliest date timestamp. All of this is coming from an integration profile of type OAI. If we come back into Alma here and we go to configuration general integration profiles, we'll see that we have an OAI definition set up, and you can see that that information that we just saw, the name, the repository base URL, the admin email, the earliest timestamp, etc., is all coming from here. Let's continue. Now we want to see our list of sets. So we should see the set that we have already published, which we just saw in the in the publishing profile. So that's the name. There's other sets here as well, but we're concerned with this OAI example set spec and OAI example set name. Let's go take a look at that again inside the publishing profile so we see how the correspondence goes from our results from the publishing profile. So we'll go back into the publishing profiles. We'll open up this OAI withholdings information, and we see here that we have called our set OAI example set spec, and we have called our set name OAI example set name. And that is what we're seeing here, OAI example set spec, OAI example set name. And these are other examples that we've done in the past. So we've got our sets. Let's move on. We've also got the metadata formats, which we have and can use. Less relevant for our specific purpose here, but these are the standard retrievals which are all described here. List metadata formats, identify list sets. We're going through the typical, official verbs, they're called, of the OAI retrieval. Let's move on, and we'll get to our specific records. Now we want all of the identifiers for our specific set called OAI example set spec. So let's take a look at that. You can see here we have set OAI example set spec, and we want to list the identifiers. Our verb is list identifiers. And let's see what we got here. So we will take this and enter. And here we go. So these are the identifiers. We can use these identifiers to retrieve a specific record by that identifier. We're also going to see that we can automatically list the entire record. However, there are specific examples where people want one specific identifier. We're going to use both methods. We're going to take an identifier to see the record, and then we're also going to use a different verb. Right now we're using the verb list identifiers. Later we'll use another verb to retrieve the entire record, of course, with the holdings information. Now this set we can also retrieve according to specific dates. You'll notice here there's a date timestamp of when this was last published. If we come in here, we see that we have examples with dates. Let's take a look at this one. And now we have the same URL, except we're saying and a from date and a to date. It's still giving us all four of them. But for example, if I were to change this to May 18th at 1950, let's even say May 17th until May 18th. And now I get nothing because all of my examples are May 21. So I'm not getting anything if I'm going on dates which don't include May 21. And we see we can search not only by specific dates, but also by the timestamps. Here we're doing by timestamps from 1950 from 1950, sorry about that, 1950 on May 19th until 1950 on May 31st. Now, if we want to get a specific record here, according to one of these identifiers, we can do that as well. Let's take a look at that example. So now we have get a specific record, and here I've made a little template that just says identifier. So if we were to take this, and let's open up a new tab here, and try to retrieve one specific record, instead of just the word identifier, I'll take a specific identifier, and replace this identifier place stamp. And now I have that specific record. If we scroll down a bit, we see all of the bibliographic information. And we see the publishing information for the holdings. This is a electronic inventory. So we have these subfields here which correspond to our publishing profile. When we see all of the records in a moment, we're going to do a different command, different verb, which is going to give us all of the records. We're going to take a look at the publishing profile and how all of these fields correspond. However, you can already see that we have included here the electronic inventory being published via OAI together with the bibliographic information. Let's take another example as well. And we'll put that in here. And now we have another example, all the bibliographic records. We'll scroll down. This also is an electronic. Let's do one more. We'll get a physical. And let's take a look here. We'll replace this identifier with the new one we just took. And again, we have all of the bibliographic information. We scroll down. Now we have the library name, the location name, the availability. We'll talk about that in a moment. And the barcode. Let's move on now and see how we can see all of the records without first getting the identifier and then retrieving one specific record. We have list records without date range, and then we have list with date range. So let's say we want all of the records. So we'll put that in here. What are we getting now? Let's take a look. We're saying verb equals list records. Then we're saying metadata prefix is mark 21. Then we're saying our set is OAI example set spec. That's the OAI example set spec right here. So now we're listing all of the records in that set without first getting the identifier and then retrieving the identifier. Scroll through here, we see all of the bibliographic fields. Here, for the case of a Electronic, we see the 998 field because that was where we put it. Sometimes it's called we expanded it there. Again, we have a 998 field. Here we have two 998 fields because this one has two portfolios. Then we have ones for physical inventory. If we scroll down here, we'll see the physical inventory, the library, the location, the availability, the barcode. We can also retrieve these records with a timestamp. And now you can see, if we go to the date range, we have from in a certain date range and a until in a certain date range. If we were to change this again like we did last time and say we want, instead of May 1st to May 31st, May 1st to May 10, now we're not going to have anything because all of my timestamps include different dates. So we're saying May 1st to May, let's even say 2022. So we're sure we don't have anything. There we go. And now we don't have anything because none of our timestamps fit those, because all of our timestamps we can see are within May 2023. Now let's take a look at the expanded or included inventory information together with the bibliographic information. So let's start with this one just as an example. And we'll look at this in Alma, and then we'll look at it also here in the OAI results. So let's take this MMSID just as an example. And we see that this is electronic inventory. And let's go take a look at the portfolio. We'll say, let's go to the portfolio list first, and then we'll edit the portfolio just to take a look here. So this is a book. It says electronic material type book. Service activation status is available. It's part of eBook Central. ProQuest eBook Central is the platform. And then we have a service parameter URL here and a parser parameter, etc. If we come here, excuse me, and we look for this, we'll see all those corresponding fields. The eBook Central, the available, the collection name, the URL. So all of the information has been expanded from the electronic inventory into the bibliographic record. Let's go take a look now at an example with the physical inventory. And let's take a look at both of these physical inventories. So it's main library general location. It's main library general location because if you recall, if we come into the publishing profile at resources, publishing profiles, and OAI withholdings information, inside the data enrichment section, we had said that we want the library name in the 852B, location name in the 852C, and that's what we're going to have here, library name, location name. Here's the barcode in the 999C. That's because here we said barcode in the in the B. 999B has the barcode, and in the C is the availability. So here's the item status subfield, and it's subfield C. Now note that here it's 0. 0 means not available. So if we go look at this barcode, let's say we want physical items by barcode. If we look for that barcode, we see that this is item not in place and it's on loan. That's why here it has a 0. If we were to look at a different example here, this one instead of a 0 has a 1, meaning it is available. If we come here and we search for this barcode, we'll see that this one is available. It says item in place, and therefore here it has a 1 that it is invaluable. It also has all of the other holdings information here within the record. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you in all of our future sessions. Have a nice day.